If you want to hear about a kids movie clown that scarred an entire generation, stick around to the end of this video. So we've talked about horror movie clowns, I've written you a creepy clown story and short film, and it kind of begs the question, are there ever any actual funny clowns who aren't just horrifying? I can only really think of one, but why are so many people afraid of clowns? Maybe they're just naturally scary because the makeup of a clown often contrasts and hides their true facial expressions, tapping into the fear of the unknown, kind of similar to the fear of the dark. But maybe it's a deep-seated fear, planted from the point of childhood, because if you look at some of the many clowns seen in kids' movies, there are some really disturbing ones. And most of them come from old Disney movies, like Dumbo from 1941. This movie is about a circus elephant, so you can bet there are a lot of clowns, but there's one scene in particular that stands out. Dumbo has a dream about this parade of pink elephants, which are already kind of creepy with their empty eye sockets and Fauvism-inspired art style. So when they start to appear as clowns, things quickly break down into an acid trip nightmare. And as kind of a side note, I always think the title at the end of the movie is also pretty messed up. I mean, look at that guy. It looks like he's crawling out from behind that gong to feast on you. Of course, this is kind of an older movie, so I think that adds to the creep factor a little bit. Another circus clown appearance can be seen in Red's Dream, a Pixar short film from 1987. This is one of the earliest CG animated films about a unicycle who dreams of being in the circus, and what makes this so disturbing is the level of detail and quality of animation isn't quite what we're used to today. It's just off-putting seeing this clown's deformed face, and the way those balls float in the air is unnatural. There's something off about the music, that is, before the music just stops and he looks directly into the camera. That's just so creepy. The ending of this is really depressing for a Pixar film too. The dream ends and the unicycle just cries in the corner for almost 30 seconds, and then it just ends. This clown also makes a little cameo in Toy Story 2. Another Pixar clown appeared more recently in 2015 with Inside Out, when two of Riley's emotions, joy and sadness, try to sneak into the part of her brain that contains her biggest fears. The only thing scarier than a creepy clown is a giant creepy clown. Jangles seems to have been a birthday party clown that psychologically scorned Riley. What makes him terrifying is similar to what makes Pennywise so unnerving, which is the fact that he's crazy and unpredictable. And did I mention giant? This movie is more recent, so I wasn't a kid when it came out, but if I had been, I'm sure my nightmares would have been filled with that laugh.
Birthday?
Oh, good. Follow us! Nothing like a good scare to wake you up, right?
Speaking of nightmare clowns, how did this make it into a kids movie? A lot of kids are already afraid of going to the doctor, so the fact that Pee-wee's Big Adventure then takes that fear and throws clowns into the mix is not going to go over well for them. Not to mention, they seem to be using torture devices to fix this bike, and the whole dream devolves into some kind of nightmarish hellscape. Moving right along from one nightmare to another, who could forget the clown with the tearaway face from Nightmare Before Christmas?
I am the clown with the tearaway face!
Here in a flash and bubble the tree.
The fact that the clown's true face is just a black void is so disturbing compared to the other characters who simply have a spooky form, like a skeleton or a boogeyman. It's not a scary movie despite being about Halloween, but a clown with a black void under his face has become known as one of the scariest parts for people who watch this as kids. But the 90s clown horror does not end there. Air Bud, of all things, has a crazy clown in it. like Jangles, it's the psychopathic tendencies from a birthday clown that get you here. As soon as you see this rusty clown truck come barreling over the hill at the start of the movie, you know it means trouble. Outside of the crudely applied makeup, one thing that puts you on edge about this guy is the evidence of anger issues. He's a bit less scary than some of the others I've mentioned because of his clumsiness, but there's still something off-putting about a birthday clown who hates kids.
I hate birthday parties! I hate kids! I hate being a clown!
There are also hints of alcoholism, which can turn anyone into a monster, and the fact that it's happening to a clown makes it that much worse. The next one is from a TV show, not a film, but since Are You Afraid of the Dark is an anthology series, it could really be considered more of a collection of short films, so I'm gonna count it.
Yeah, what kind of strange stuff happened inside the ride?
Well, that's what the kids wanted to know, especially Luigi.
And also, it is intended to be scary to kids, but you know what? It's my channel. I can do what I want. I'm talking about it. Zeebo the Clown is from an episode called The Tale of Laughing in the Dark. Zeebo's actually the ghost of a runaway circus clown whose cigarette butt started the fire that ended his life while hiding out in an amusement park spook house. This one definitely has the coolest backstory, and I always love some good creepy clown music.
It's the most fun in the park when you're laughing.
Zeebo plays more on suspense than it does shock value. We don't actually see the real ghost of Zeebo, only this disturbing prop. But when Josh steals the clown's nose to prove his bravery, Zeebo definitely begins to haunt him at home. It's never fully revealed if Zeebo's ghost can be seen, or if this creepy carny who can be seen smoking at the end is actually the ghost of Zeebo out of makeup. One thing's for sure, I wouldn't want to hear this clown's laughter in the dark. And finally, we have the creepiest clown to have graced the screen of a kids movie. Have you noticed that 4 out of the 7 clowns so far have appeared in nightmares? That's probably not a coincidence. This last one is no exception. It comes from the 1987 Disney movie The Brave Little Toaster, a movie about 5 household appliances looking for their old master. A movie that has no business being this creepy. Just roll it. If they were trying to ruin every kid's childhood, they got the design of this guy right. He just looks sinister. You may have seen YouTuber Colossal is Crazy repurpose this image to be his logo. The clown himself may actually be a reference to the firefighter clowns from Dumbo, although this is much scarier. Everything from the lighting to the voice to the towering perspective makes this clown the stuff of every kid's nightmare. And to top it all off, Disney always has to have a dark side, and the suicide references suggested by the imagery of a fork in the toaster or a toaster in the bathtub make this scene absolutely chilling. And that's before you even get to the sound of this clown's creepy, sadistic laugh. If any of these clowns left a mark on your childhood, be sure to give this video a like and go down in the comments and let me know about any other creepy things you've seen in kids movies. If you're interested in topics like this, check out some of my other Creepy Things videos, and remember to subscribe to CZsWorld for new horrors every week. Ring that death bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one, assuming we both survive.